Cool. All set, ready to go. Hello, everyone. Thank you for the patience. My name is Milica. I'm a technical writer on Chrome Developer Relations team. I work on authentication and web identity. Before that, I used to work on privacy and performance. So if you're interested in any of these topics, I'm happy to chat after this session. But today, I'd like to talk to you about our future without passwords. So before we start, here's a little preview of what I will cover. We can't really talk about getting rid of passwords without first talking about passwords. With that out of the way, the actual topic of my talk today is passkeys. I'll tell you what they are, how they work, and go over the benefits they offer. We'll learn more about security features of passkeys and the state of support today. There's much more to it, but we only have 15 minutes, so I'll include links to all the resources and just get started now. Passwords have been around for a long time, but they're a pain for your users, and they're a liability for you as a developer. Strong passwords are difficult to remember, so many people don't bother creating strong passwords, or they just use the same password for everything. Now, show me hands. How many of you had to reset their password in the last year? Right, I know. Well, we are not the only ones. According to research, 90% of people have to reset their passwords several times a year. And actually, 6% of them said they do it daily. Now, I know, we're developers. I know what you're thinking, like, password managers exist, right? Sure. Password managers really do help. They generate a strong password, they can autofill it to the right domains and apps, synchronize across all your devices, but the reality is, not all users rely on password managers. Managing passwords aside, they're just not very secure. Passwords are one of the most common entry points for attackers, and 81% of hacking-related breaches are related to weak or stolen passwords. And as a developer, if you store user passwords, you are responsible for the risks of hacking. And hacking is only part of the problem. Passwords are also susceptible to phishing. Now, phishing attacks trick users into revealing sensitive information. You know, when you go on a site and it looks exactly like your bank and it has a sign-in form, and you don't really notice that the URL is kind of wonky? Well, no matter how strong your password is, how many special characters it has, it will not save you from deceptive sign-in forms. OK, so you may be thinking now, but we have two-factor authentication, right? Of course, two-factor authentication does improve security, but one, it adds an extra step for users. And two, it costs you as a developer money to send all those SMSs or emails. That's why today, I want to tell you about a new, better, and more secure way to sign in on the web with passkeys. So passkeys are a simple and secure cross-device authentication technology that enables users to sign into the sites or apps without entering a password. A passkey is a unique cryptographic key pair which is tied to a user account and a website or application. Here's a little video. On sites and apps that implement passkeys, the browser or the operating system will show users a prompt to create a passkey. Then a user needs to use a screen lock on their device, which can be a fingerprint, a face scan, however you unlock your device. And there's no need to type or remember anything. When you want to log into your account, your phone will verify with your screen lock method, and you're in. So the browser and the operating system will ensure that each passkey can only be used for the site or app that it's created for. Unlike with passwords, a user then can't be tricked into signing in to a fishy site or an app. Now, passkeys are developed by FIDO Alliance. This is an open industry association that works on standardizing specifications that will reduce our reliance on passwords. Members of FIDO are Google, Microsoft, and many other big companies. This is important because it means passkeys are not a proprietary technology. This is an open standard adopted by industry and all platforms. And FIDO Alliance also conducts research. So they recently published a report that found that 58% of consumers in the US has abandoned their shopping carts because of difficulty of managing passwords. So improving the sign-in experience can actually have a very direct impact on your business. Sites that implement passkeys as an additional sign-in method have seen a number of benefits, such as higher sign-in success rates, reduced sign-in time, increased conversion rates, and, as I mentioned, reduced cost of separate two-factor authentication methods. Many apps and websites today already implement passkeys, and they have been doing it for a while. These include PayPal, Kayak, Amazon, and many others. The list just keeps growing, and you can check out which sites and apps implement passkeys on this link, passkeys.directory. Now, passkeys have been around for a little while, and can I ask you, has anyone here used passkeys? OK, cool. Quite a few hands, but not all of you. Now, let's try again. How many of you have a Google account? Do you use Gmail or anything? OK, well, for those of you that do, that's actually another company that implements passkeys. So if you have a Google account, you can actually try passkeys right now. Check out this link. You can either take a screenshot or just enter it at g.co/passkeys. If your device supports passkeys, and most modern devices do, you can just create a passkey in a matter of seconds and use it to sign in to your Gmail. And passkeys have been supported on Google accounts since May 2023. So it's been a little while now, and it's been going well. And the reason is because passkeys really offer a much simpler user experience. There's no typing required. There will show up an account selector, and you simply select which credential to sign in with. And it allows you to authenticate with biometrics, such as fingerprint or a face scan, or any other way you unlock your device, so a PIN or a pattern. Now, as I mentioned in the agenda, let's talk about security. This is a major feature of passkeys. Passkeys work with public key cryptography. A passkey is a private key stored securely on the user's device. And it is created locally when you use the screen lock method. So fingerprint, facial recognition, PIN, or a pattern. And then the matching public key is what's stored on the server. Now, because no secret is stored on the server, passkeys are not vulnerable to server breaches like passwords are. If an attacker does get a hold of your public key, they can't derive the private key stored on device from it. And the user's biometric information is never leaving the device. So it's never revealed to the website or the app. A passkey, of course, also includes metadata, such as username and the server domain of the site you want to sign into. So apps and sites will know which passkey to ask for. And this metadata is what ensures that passkeys stay safe from phishing. Now, when the user authenticates on the device with the screen lock method, what happens is that passkey generates a signature, which is then sent to the server for verification. So unlike with passwords, you're not sending your private key, you're not sending your passkey to the server. You're just sending a signature that says, yeah, this user has a passkey for this site. And then the server verifies, yes, this matches my database, they can get in. If this sounds cool, you might be wondering where passkey is supported now. I have great news. In all major browsers, so Safari, Firefox, Chrome, Edge, and all other Chromium-based browsers. But it's better than that. Passkeys are also supported on Android, iOS, and Windows. Now, how does this work? Passkeys work on both apps and websites. And what makes them easy to use is they can be backed up by your device's credential manager. Now, this is a tool that's a digital vault, and it stores your passwords and passkeys. So calling it a password manager is not really appropriate anymore. That's why we call it a credential manager. When a user creates a passkey for a site on an app, the credential manager of your device can back it up and then synchronize across devices. So similar how it's done with password managers. Now, if a user gets a new device, when they log in to this credential manager, they can retrieve the passkeys they're using to sign in. On Android 13 and below, users can only save passkeys in Google Password Manager. Other companies have similar syncing capabilities. So for Apple devices, that's Keychain. And as long as you're signed into the same Apple account, you can use your passkeys across your Apple devices. Now, starting from Android 14, users can save passkeys in their preferred credential manager, which can be a third-party password manager, like 1Password, for example. So if a user creates a passkey on Android and they're signed into their Google account across their Android devices, they can use their passkeys. However, the same passkey will not be available on other platforms, such as Apple, Windows, or Chrome OS, even if you're signed with your Google account into the same browser, like Chrome. However, we are working on improving this, and the synchronization support will come to all of these platforms by the end of 2024. Remember, passkeys are not a proprietary technology, and the entire industry is working on making the syncing capabilities as seamless as possible. In the meantime, when you do want to sign in on a device that doesn't have your passkey, you can use a device that does and scan a QR code shown to you by a site or an app. So I've told you a little bit about how great passkeys are, and you may be wondering, like, can we just get rid of passwords now? Well, no, not yet. Passwords won't disappear overnight. Like any new beginning, a change takes time, and passkeys and passwords will have to coexist. I like to think about this like a transition from cash to card transactions. So at some point in time, cards are very new, not supported everywhere, and that transition took time. And then there were places that kind of lagged behind. Where I live in London and here in Copenhagen, I just pay by card for everything. But in Berlin, until fairly recently, you had to use cash in most places. However, change is sometimes slow, but it happens. This year, when I visited Berlin, I could just use my card in most places. So similar for passkeys and passwords, the transition will take time. There will still be users who have devices that don't support passkeys, or they just don't feel comfortable yet with changing the technology. So for the time being, you should still support both sign-in methods, but now is a really good time to start investing in the future and start implementing passkeys as one of your authentication methods. Now, if you do feel you're ready for that, you can start integrating today. For web apps, there's a standard API. This is just a regular JavaScript API called Web Authn, or Web Authentication API. On the link on the slides, there's a step-by-step workshop that shows you how to implement passkeys. And then, if you don't want to start from scratch, actually there's a number of libraries for popular languages like TypeScript, Ruby, Rust, and others. You can find the list on GitHub on this repo, Awesome Web Authn. For server-side implementation, there are libraries for Java and PHP. If you're implementing on Android, you use the Jetpack API called Credential Manager API. So let's recap what we've learned today. Passkeys are a replacement for passwords. No need to type in anything. You just sign in with your screen lock method. That can be a passkey, that can be fingerprint, facial recognition, PIN, or a pattern. And they are synchronized by a credential manager across your devices, as long as you're signed in to the same account. They are more secure than passwords because they are based on public key cryptography, and they are phishing resistant because each passkey can only be used for the site or app it was created for. And best of all, supported across all major browsers and operating systems. To learn more, scan this QR code to check out the video, and the link on the slides will get you to more resources about passkeys. I'd say we are well on the way to a passwordless future, and by implementing passkeys today, you get better security, a better user experience, and happier users. That's all for today. You can find me online on these links, and I'll be around if you want to chat about this or any other thing. Thank you so much for your attention.